Jesus visited this man in his living room, and what he said about his anxiety will shock you. Watch this.
The noise intensified. My head started pounding. I broke out in a sweat. My stomach began nervous, just jitters, started shaking. The devil was saying, that demon's in you is getting ready to manifest. They're going to come get you. Police are going to come. You're going to make a scene. You better get out of here. And I fell face first in the carpet, and I began screaming. Oh, God, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind just like my grandmama. They're coming to get me in their straitjacket. Oh, God, you've got to come help me. And I just sensed something. I got quiet for a second. I sensed something. I thought, I better get up. I got to get up. So when I lifted up on my hands and on my knees, I looked up and it wasn't Ron. It was the Lord Jesus. You say, oh, really? I'm just telling you what I saw. And I looked back in front of me and there was the Lord Jesus. And it dawned on me right then, this is real. He looked at me and he said, Eddie, he called me by name. See, he knows your name. He said, Eddie, what would you have me do for you? I said, Lord Jesus, these thoughts, they're killing me. I'm going crazy. And he said, Eddie, I told you thoughts are as vapors. And he reached down to the side of my head. I can feel, when I talk about it, I feel the pressure still on the side of my head. I felt the pressure of his hand, and he reached down to the side of my head and pulled out what looked to be a banner. And he said, look, and on the side of it, on the banner was written, you are demon possessed. That's the thought that Satan had put in my head. And he took that banner all the way out and he blew it, and it disappeared like a vapor. And then he reached down to the side of my head and pulled out another one. And on it I read, it said, God does not love you. Because that's the thought that was locked in my head. And he blew it. And it just evaporated like a vapor. He said, I told you thoughts are as vapors, they have no power. And then he looked to the corner, and when he looked, I looked, and there in the corner, and they wasn't there before when I looked. But this time when he looked, I saw two monkey-looking creatures over in the corner, probably 3 or 4 feet tall. I don't know how tall. They were huddled up together. And each time Jesus looked at them, they'd start shivering. And I could tell they were scared. They were scared. Jesus never said a word to them. And I knew in the spirit, I didn't know anything about demons or devils. I didn't know. I'd never read anything. But see, when you get over in the spirit realm, you know things you normally don't know. So I knew at that moment those were demons. And the Lord looked at me and he said, there's your problem. And he turned back and looked at me. And then he would look at them again. And each time he looked at them, they wouldn't look at him. They were scared of him. They were scared of him. And then he looked at me, he smiled. And he's gone.